Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you guys how I made two different soaps using one soap mold. It is a bit of a dramatic one because a bit of a disaster happened that I'm going to show you guys. But first, let's just start with measuring out our hard oils. I'm measuring out cocoa butter, next is shea butter, and next is probably going to be lard. Let's see what comes next. So next we're measuring out our coconut oil, then we're going to measure out some lard. Next, my gloves will most likely come on. You can see there the gloves came on. And then I measure my water. So it's just my style. I love those oils on my skin, and so I just love to use my bare hands when I measure out my oils before I start to handle the lye. And so I measure out my water and then some citric acid, and I'm dissolving the citric acid before I will go ahead and measure or add my lye. So next I'm going to dissolve the lye in the water. I'm pouring it slowly into the water. I noticed that the citric acid does make the entire thing get a little bit warmer than normal, or hotter than normal, because it's really not warm, it's actually pretty hot. And yeah, so there I'm just going to dissolve that completely before I start with my process. So I'm doing the heat transfer method, and that involves using the hot lye solution to melt down your hard oils. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my liquid oils. So now, given that I'm doing swirls in this design, I usually still go ahead and use, like most people try to use softer oils when they want to do swirls, but I still stick to my recipe and just usually do not stick blend. And so yeah, I thought, well, I was not supposed to stick blend at all in this batch. I was just going to use the whisk. But guys, oh my gosh, the disaster that happened afterwards. Here I'm pouring some olive oil, and then I'm going to pour some castor oil, and then you guys are just going to see what happened. You guys, it's a miracle that I was able to save this soap. So at the point when I feel like it's at an emulsion, I decide to add my sodium lactate and then measure in my fragrance oil. And then at that point, everything changed for me. Like, I was so calm when I was doing this, but from this point on, my nerves were definitely, well ticked. I was so nervous. So here I started to notice rising. And guys, this was actually my first experience with rising. I never thought it would happen to me. Literally, look at that. Can you guys see? So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Stay calm first, take a deep breath, start whisking, whisk really hard. So I was there stirring this thing really hard, just really hard, and it wasn't going away. So I had no choice. Oh Lord, this really made me sad. Had no choice but to get the stick blender. Look at that. See, I've just zoomed in so you guys can actually see it. Got the stick blender and bam, zoom. Clearly got my trace a lot thicker than I wanted, because obviously I wanted to do swirls. And so at this point I was working so fast, but I kept telling myself in my head, stay calm so you don't make a mistake, stay calm so you don't make a mistake. And so I measured out, I had predispersed all my colors in 4 cups, or was it 5 cups? 1 cup didn't have a color, but yeah. And then also it turned my batter yellow. The fragrance oil turned my batter a bit yellow, so I was a bit surprised as well with that. So there I just quickly added some titanium dioxide to the bit that was supposed to have the confetti, and it was supposed to look like a kind of granite tile. And so I just, you know, did that and poured that real quickly. At this point, my batter in the 4 cups was definitely getting thick. I was working so fast here. So we're spreading that out evenly. And then next, I'm gonna, you know, arrange everything just so I don't get confused. Bear in mind, guys, I was trying to be calm. I was really nervous at this point and very upset. So I was stirring everything, trying to make sure I wasn't mixing in the colors, and you know, I didn't want to mix the dark colors into the light colors. You know how it works. So obviously I just had to keep talking to myself while I was doing this. So I stirred everything, and then notice the 1 cup down there, because that one had no color. I didn't have to stir it. You guys are gonna see what happened next. So now I've lined up the colors in the order in which I want them, and I'm going to start the top design of this soap. So it was supposed to be a type of spin swirl, but clearly there was no spin anything with this. I just couldn't do it. So I decided I was going to do a kind of marble, so I would pour in the same way I wanted to do the spin swirl, and then marble it one way or another, or just like swirl it somehow. You know, I literally had to improvise. So here I'm pouring the colors. I don't know if you saw oh gosh, I think I missed that part, but the one without the color was so thick I had to get another spoon to kind of stir it and, you know, kind of shake it a little bit, and you could just see how much of a mess this was. Somehow I think it's a miracle though that this soap still turned out really nice. I was very disappointed at first, but then I reached out to everyone in, you know, a soap group that I'm a member of, and everybody just liked it. And from there, I kind of started to fall in love with it again. But at first, I was just really disappointed because I had something in my mind that didn't quite work out, and you know how it can be. And then also you can see, because it was so thick, when I was swirling, it was forming a texture on top, and I just didn't want that texture at all. And so when I was done swirling, I decided to tap it down real hard. I was tapping, but the texture was there to stay, so I had to make do with it. What I thought was that I was gonna kind of plane off the top of the soap, but when I was done, I actually now fell in love with the texture. Soap is so weird, like you have something in mind, something else will be the result, and this is what, you know, I ended up getting, and somehow I loved it. So this is the next day. About 24 hours later, I am unmolding now, and you know, at this point I think I still was trying to get myself to fall in love with my soap. Gosh, maybe I'm just a perfectionist, I don't know. But it took me some time to actually fall in love with this soap, and now, guys, I am absolutely in love with it, because that granite under and the top swirl, oh my goodness. So basically, the first soap is supposed to be, so there are 2 soaps from this, you know, one is supposed to be like a granite, and the second one is supposed to be like a half and half. I love the half and half design, so it's like a half granite and half swirl on top, and that's just what I got. So how I achieved this was, you can see that I cut off, you know, my soap bars that look like really large soap bars, but trust me, they're not that large because I'm still gonna have to cut them. So I cut that, and then I cut so I cut this vertically, and then I cut horizontally to get out there you can see I'm measuring it, and I cut horizontally to get the the granite bit out. So that's how I achieved 2 designs in one soap. So now I thought, well, let's try to plane the first one, and I did that. You see, I tried to like remove the top to just get rid of the texture, and I looked at it. Somehow I didn't look at it in here so you guys can't see, but I didn't like it, so I just put it away. So there, so I got a beveler and tried to still plane it even more, and I just didn't quite like it. So I actually fell in love with the texture, and I left the texture as is for the rest of the bars, and you know, that's just how I decided to keep it. So there, guys, if you have watched to this point, I believe you're enjoying my content, and I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Also, would you let me know down below in the comment section how you have dealt with ricin, if you have, or any fragrance oil at all that has just not behaved well in your cold process soap making, because this was such a surprise to me. I truly I truly thought I truly thought it could never happen to me. I'm so weird. But I think what happened was I was gonna do, I remember when I bought this fragrance oil, I had it in mind to do like a cupcake soap, and so I didn't mind the acceleration and all of that, and I forgot and used it for this one, and somehow I got surprised and I didn't quite like it. And sometimes when these things happen, things that don't go as planned, they really do throw you off balance, and you know, it can just affect your entire your entire day, or your soap making day rather. So that's kind of what happened here, but in the end I really did like it, and I hope you guys like it too. Just let me know if you like it. It's definitely is 2 very different soaps in one, and I just love it. I love this concept, and I think this brambleberry mold that I use for these ones really do work perfectly. So you know, you could try it. And well, yeah, so thank you so much for watching again, guys, and see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.